Okay, today I'm joined by Dan Parrish, and Dan has been with Mantech for 29 years out of the Ogden, Utah area, and he's been gracious enough to join us today to have just kind of a very informal conversation about this past year in the business. But for those of you who don't know Dan, he's very interesting, and I've enjoyed spending the last couple of days with him. So without further ado, Dan, why don't you introduce yourself to the fellow colleagues out there and tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
I will, Jerry. Thank you. I'm Dan Parrish, as he says. I've been with the company since 1983. I was born and raised in the Bountiful, Utah area. My wife is Joellen. She's a residential real estate appraiser, and her favorite hobby is she's a beekeeper. I personally myself enjoy a good game of golf, and enjoy just about anything sports-wise on TV. We have two children, Nicholas, who is 34, and Adrian, who is 27. We're also a lover of animals. We are fortunate to have 4 real nice dogs, and we enjoy our time with them and our time at home. So that basically is it.
Well, that's outstanding, Dan. I want to remind you of your promise to get me some of that fresh honey as a result of Joellen's beekeeping hobby. We're still on for that, right?
You betcha we got that's a deal.
Okay. Hey, I'm curious because you've been with the company for 29 years now. If you could think back 29 years ago, all right, why did you come to work for Mantech?
Well, I was lodged in kind of one of those jobs where extremely redundant and a routine job. I was working as an oil refinery operator. I worked for Chevron USA at the Salt Lake Refinery, trying to follow my dad's footsteps, who spent 27 years there, and I was an operator in the crude unit and in the thermal cracking units, and was a good job, but the problem of it is, as I said, it was extremely redundant, but it was a shift work type job, and I sat down with Joellen and says, I've got to get out of this because, my life's going to end a lot sooner than it should working shift work, those rotating shifts. And I answered an ad in the Salt Lake Tribune, and one thing led to another, and I was interviewed and hired by a gentleman by the name of Ron McGleany, and I have the good fortune to be sitting here today because of Ron McGleany. So.
Well, that's outstanding. What attracted you? Obviously, you were kind of fed up with shift work and didn't see any future in that. What attracted you to Mantech? Why did you say this is the place where I'm going to make a change?
What attracted me, Jerry, was the fact that we don't punch a time clock. We manage our own business. The variety of products that we're able to sell, we sell to who we want to, and the fact that the unlimited income potential, obviously, is the most important thing there, and that's basically what attracted me. Plus, growth, personal growth.
Well, that's outstanding. I think those are some of the common denominators that attracted me to the company, Dan, 19 years ago, and it's nice to hear that, I'm personally very happy that you made that decision 29 years ago. You've become an integral part of Mantech's today's vision, and I know we're going to play a large part in our future vision. Something very interesting happened in your career as of late, in the last 2 years really, and then specifically in the last year, things started to manifest themselves. Talk to me a little bit about this transformation or, just escalation of what's happened in your business.
Well, as you know, 2009 was not a very good year for anybody, and I was going nowhere. I had not fully bought into a lot of the new programs that Mantech had to offer, specifically the lubricant program. And I was sitting with my wife Joellen 2 years ago, and I said, something's got to change. I said, either I get out of the business or I make a change. And I saw a couple of incidences where some of my sister companies were just absolutely just flying past me like a race car, and I was standing still. And I just took it upon myself, decided I'm going to learn this way of lubricants, and one thing led to another. It mushroomed, it snowballed, and business has been never been better. And And actually, I'll be honest with you, Jerry, never been easier. So.
Well, that's outstanding. You used the line. I'm putting you on the spot now to see if you remember the line, because I remember it and it's stuck in my head, and I recite it to others to this day. But do you remember what you told me, Dan? Because we had a conversation on the phone, and you said, "Jerry, I'm changing." Well, I want you to tell me.
Well, you know, and it was just the truth, and I couldn't figure out any other way to say it. But I basically changed careers without changing companies. I didn't have to go through hiring processes. I didn't have to wait for any benefit. Still had them off place, and I, didn't have to ask for a pay raise either. So.
Well, speaking of pay raises, Dan, you're on a hell of a run here recently. You're gonna obviously you're one of Mantech's newest members into the prestigious inner circle, and looking forward to seeing your picture there on the wall every time I go into my office there at the headquarters building. But you have done something even more phenomenal. You got about a 90% increase this year in sales. So I don't know too many people that have given themselves that kind of pay increase in the course of 12 months. Certainly that hasn't hurt your feelings.
No, not at all. That's been the fun part of it. And actually, it's not working any harder. So
Well, I have talked to some of your friends at your golf club, and they say you just make bigger bets now. That's all.
That's exactly right.
They're happy you're doing better.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me a little bit about what you see in the future. You and I have spent some time together this week, and I've been excited to hear your talk and your vision for the future, specifically what your plan is for next year. And I know that information would be impactful to some of your colleagues. You mind sharing some of that again?
No, not at all, Jerry. What I see is have had the good fortunes of seeing a lot in the past and going by past track records. And this transformation that Mantech has made into lubricants has been one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I've seen so many people do it, and it's been absolutely wonderful, everybody. And I've seen a wonderful team formulated in this company to where the collaboration is absolutely second to none. The shared information on how we can do nationwide joint accounts. My forte, what I enjoy, is basically the oil and gas industry, specifically hydraulic fracturing, land stimulation, cementing, plus anyone that services that industry. That industry right now is where Mantech is just on the tip of everything. We don't know the ceiling of this industry yet. And to be able to formulate a plan to continue to dig as deep as we can into that industry with our lubricants is basically the keys to the castle. And there's absolutely no substitute for the quality of our lubricants in this industry. We are a household name with one of the largest hydraulic fracturing and land stimulation companies in the world. And that's just one of many. And what I see is just continued growth in this area, plus accumulation of what I like to call base accounts, opening more base accounts, to keep that foundation solid. And there's a couple of things, and as we talked about, there's two things that amaze me right now. One that's amazing me is how much product that Mantech does sell. What further amazes me more, Jerry, is how much that we're not selling and who we're not selling to. I don't know what our market share percentage is, but I believe that's where our potential growth is, and that's probably where my focus is going to be for the upcoming fiscal year.
Well, outstanding. It's funny, and I try to hold the camera steady and not laugh because you mentioned the words market share, and quite frankly, we have none. That's how big this elephant is. It is nice, and it's flattering to some degree to be a household name in companies like Schlumberger and Weatherford and Superior and Basic, and the list goes on and on. But to also be, have a stronghold in the agricultural arena, still very strong amongst the municipalities and construction, demolition, excavation, and all the traditional indices as well. We've seen a nice spike across the board. I know next year you said you're committed to doing something kind of, unique to build your business. I don't know that it's unique, but it's refreshing to hear a guy who's been with the company 29 years say he's committed to. I'm going to get you on video with your commitment. What is it you're committed to doing every month next year?
Well, I think it's important that we all want the beautiful accounts and the nice orders are coming every day, but no one's business can survive if that base is not healthy. And I basically am committed to getting that base broader at the bottom. I've got roughly 170 accounts on my base. I don't have enough. I want more. And I think that the ticket to that is 8 to 10 new accounts a month. And that's really not hard. You know, you're looking at 2 to 3 new accounts a week of base accounts, and just knowing from experience that driving past business is something we all do every day. And you know, I've made all the mistakes, and that's one I'm not making this year. That's
Well,
what I'm committed to.
I know from what you've done this year that you're a man of action, and so there's no doubt in my mind that when we sit down and have this conversation next year, because I believe, Dan, you are just a few clicks away from being in the $1 million club. And I know that when we sit down and have this conversation next year, we'll be able to look back at how your base has expanded. And you know, kind of as a parting shot, you know, do you have any wisdom or secret sauce type thing that you want to impart to your colleagues?
Well, you know, the first thing I like to do is congratulate everybody. Congratulate everybody on the team. No matter what level we're at on this team, it's been a nice year and a good run. For those who would have any interest in growth, I'd sit down and I'd take a long, hard look at your business. I'd look at your accounts, and just from experience, I think we all would look and say, boy, I don't have enough accounts. And look into the areas to sit down and maybe perhaps if you're not fully educated and fully comfortable with anything in our lubricant line, I suggest studying them, learning one new product a day. The easiest way to do it is what I'm doing now. I've had the good fortunes of expanding with motor oils. Well, motor oils, I'm going to practice on my existing customers. So, you know, it'll just carry right on over into new business. And, you know, if one wants to make the commitment, the nice thing about it is the commitment's there for us. That would be my advice to anyone.
Well, Dan, you've been very gracious to spend some time with all of us today, and I appreciate you sitting down and sharing your thoughts with your colleagues across the company. Congratulations on a phenomenal year, and I know just for so many more great things to come. Looking forward to watching you flourish. And again, thanks again, Dan.
Thanks, and we'll see you all in La Cosca, guys, and good luck next year.